Hey guys, Ken Arnold. I'm in downtown Annapolis. I'm going to meet Robert Neil Marshall for a little bit of coffee. I need to get my caffeine on. See you there. Hey, Robert Neil Marshall.
Hey, Ken Arnold.
How's it going?
It is great. This is a great idea. I love coffee with Ken. So,
Coffee again. Cheers.
cheers. Well, I kind of grew up around it. My mother was an actress, and my grandfather was a filmmaker. So, as a kid, I was around it all the time. And my grandfather had an industrial film company in Chicago. He used to do commercials, industrial films. He was a newsreel cameraman before, and literally he would put me and my cousins in some of his little movies when we were little, and it was just magic being on a set. We played Pilgrims, I remember once as kids, in a Thanksgiving thing he did, and we got to dress in costumes, and one of his other workers was one of the Pilgrims, and we were little children, and and seeing my mom on stage. My mom was an actress, so seeing her on stage perform, the magic of how fake everything is in movie and theaters. But then, how they create something really special out of it. So I love that kind of thing when I was a kid. So that's really how it started. I was just around it. I think there are different ones for different reasons. I'd say the most recent one would be getting to be in a scene with Diane Lane and Greg Kinnear and Robin Wright on House of Cards. The final season, first episode, I got to play an oligarch, I guess, a far right-wing conservative money guy who's got it in for the president. My favorite theater experience was not as an actor, to be honest with you. That was working for the producer of a show called Me and My Girl in the West End of London in my 20s. And I got to work for the general manager and the producer, and it was handling budgets and payroll and investors management at an early age in London and working with some incredible people. It was a very magical time, and I made some lifelong friends doing that. It's very nostalgic to me, and that's over 30 plus years ago. That was my most spectacular theater experience. To not try so hard. If anything, really relax and be yourself. Get in touch with what is it as a character you want, and go after it realistically as you, and things start to fall in place. And there's other techniques to help you relax, help you find those moments. But I think finding truth and simplicity in being yourself is sometimes the hardest thing to do as an actor, and let go. Well, it's funny. It started sort of, again, things by accident, where I started just capturing video of, let's say, ocean liners. Ships are a very important part of my life, and airplanes and things like that. And I started putting those pieces together and finding that other people were interested in the subject matter. And there was a video on eBay that someone was selling of a Bell helicopter that just took off and landed over and over again, and they were paying something like $40 a pop for this video. And I had old footage of a TWA reconstructed Constellation, a 1950s airliner that I flew on with this group in Kansas City. So the first commercial video I did was putting this footage together, and we sold it on eBay at first, and people were buying it and really enjoying it as a hobby thing. But again, following in the footsteps, I guess, of my grandfather, a lot of it was the love of documentary films and telling a story and putting the pieces together, the editing process, making a narration by telling a story with all these different people being interviewed, but having them talk as if they were in the room around a table together. It's fun. I love watching those pieces. Back from the Light is a documentary about the after effects of surviving a near-death experience. And as a lot of my friends already know, on August 3rd, 2013, I had a massive heart attack and I was clinically dead for a minute and a half and resuscitated. And apart from the experience itself, everybody wants to know, what's it like to die? What happens? And did I see the light and all of this? And yes, there is a light. The light is real. To me, it was. But I met another woman named Yvonne Sneeden who talked about how difficult it is afterwards to survive, to assimilate back and wonder, why am I still alive and what am I supposed to do with this? And a lot of people deal with depression after feeling the love of being in the light. It's kind of hard to be in a real world again. And so we made a documentary about it, and it's helped a lot of people, medical people. Nurses and doctors are like, wow, this is stuff we need to know about to help people through. It's a traumatic experience like any kind of a trauma.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Can people find that or watch it?
Yeah, it's on demand on Vimeo. You can just search for backfromthelight.com and there are links. There's a DVD available, or you can download it or rent it. And it really has some really cool people in the documentary. Mary Neal, who is a New York Times #1 bestseller for her book Heaven and Back, and fascinating conversations from people. There's a very common thread of experiences that we all have been through. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. We have the Columbia Film Festival, which is part of the Columbia Festival of the Arts. It's sort of a reignite, as we call it, because we had it 2 years ago. The festival had to reorganize various things, and so we're bringing it back. It's going to be June 26th through the 29th, and we have a variety of really good films that are both Maryland-based films, feature films, documentaries, a lot of local filmmakers, some things that people we know that we've worked with and some things we've worked on together, as well as other documentaries, short films, some horror films, some politically minded films, socially minded films, and we're really excited. You can go to ColumbiaFilmFestival.com, or they can go to the ColumbiaFestival.com as well. So Columbia Film Festival or ColumbiaFestival.com, and get information about the whole summer festival that's happening and the film festival. Oh, he's got an ego the size of a stadium. No, Ken is, I consider, one of my best friends in the world. He inspires me to strive. We encourage each other. And he's a true professional. On a set, working with him, he knows his stuff. He's a great person, gives you great feedback. As an instructor, a teacher, he hits the mark as well. And along with Dan Franco, I think as a team, we really work well together. It's a joy. It's not work. It's some of the most fun I think I have in my life.
Yeah, hold on one second. I'll give you that 50 that I
yeah, right. Oh, it's a ship, Ken.
Okay, on this ship.
Yeah, a ship. A boat is what you get on when the ship is sinking.
Sorry. Okay.
it's a ship.
Okay, go.
No, for 10 years now, I can't believe it's been 10 years. I'm a guest lecturer with the Cunard Insights program for the Cunard Line, and they have the fabulous Queen Mary 2, and I talk on film history and film theater, and it's great. It's a floating palace. It's a bit of history, really, and transatlantic on an ocean liner with nothing but water around you, retracing the steps of the Titanic and maritime history, and going to places like Southampton, England, where there's such history of ocean liners. It's really remarkable. I feel very lucky that I've had this opportunity to work with them. And I'm going in July, again, 30th of June, for the 4th of July. I'll be on the Queen Mary 2, giving lectures and talks, and we go up to Halifax, Nova Scotia, Boston, and Newport for the 4th of July. Yes, I have, unfortunately, and I think I was with you at one point, And I fell asleep and I started snoring.
And I elbowed you, and I was like, "Hey!" It was the Night Watchman.
It was our own picture, but
Exactly.
I've seen it 20 times. And
Oh, it's hysterical.
I never fell asleep during your scenes, though.
Yeah, well, you were snoring really loud, and I didn't want anybody to.
Thank you for telling everybody that I fell asleep.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, we were in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia for most of the shoot, and we shot some things in Maryland too. Wayne Shipley, and we had a fabulous cast. You, of course, were the title role, Bill Tillman. I played William Seelig, the producer who wants to hire Tillman and all the outlaws in town to make a silent movie. And it was great. It was a recreation of a complete miniature Universal backlot studio in Berkeley Springs, a western town. And we had the fabulous, incredible Lana Wood in the picture as well, in a cameo role, and Darby Hinton and Bobby Carradine, and we also had Kathy Searle, who's one of our actor friends, who does a lot of work coming down from New York City. Johnny Crawford made a cameo in it, so it's like classic Western stuff, and it was fun. We went to a great opening that was done by Anchor Construction. At the AFI Silver Spring. I mean, it was like a Hollywood premiere, and
It was great. Yeah.
it was. It was
You don't
good
see
fun.
that too often with
No,
independent films.
not at all. And I mean, who has the budget for that kind of thing as well? But no, it was fun. It was good to see the film come together. When you live day by day with all the bits and pieces, and you're so involved in the process, to see the finished product, it was like you could sit back and relax and have fun. I didn't even tell my mother about that until I was much older. So, no, it wasn't what people think. It was voiceover. I was an NYU film major. I got my degree from New York University Film. And while I was there, I met an editor who wanted trims put away and was doing sound editing and things like that. And she did, on the side of these feature films we were working on, she did porn. I mean, major stuff like with Ron Jeremy and Vanessa Del Rio. One was called Flash Pants, Cop a Feeling, for real. And there was another one that's First Time at Cherry High.
So what'd you do?
Well, it was what we call Foley, which is sound
I
effects.
thought you were gonna say fluffer.
No. It was Foley sound effects. So like, you know, there's scenes that were all filmed without any sound at all. So you have to put in the sound effects. Like,
Okay, well that was disappointing. I thought you actually were on set.
no, it was in a studio, and you're watching a screen, and you're going, and, you know, as the screen plays, you're going, you hyperventilate. And you watch it over and over and over again.
I see that. I see your hyperventilating.
Yeah.
So that's your porn career? Just doing Foley? Just doing
Yeah,
sound effects?
and believe me, I know there were other movies that made fun of peaches and things in more recent years, but
Yeah.
literally we would use a Slurpee wet ripe peach
Oh my
to
God.
create sound effects.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's what we did. Yeah.
And where can I get an application?
That's where your career needs to go now.
I think so.
Ken. That's where
That's where I'm at with my career. Well, Robert, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it.
I hope you got some
Love
good
you.
stuff, Ken. Thank you, bud.
You're welcome. Thank you. Love you.
You too. Appreciate it. Stay out of trouble.